What is up, guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we are back with not an ordinary video. We got 7.31 here today, the patch of the Primal Beast, and I am unbelievably excited to cover all of the hero item changes and cover the new Primal Beast and techies within this video. I can't wait to just go over what these changes mean for the game of Dota, how I think it will impact the meta, the way the game is played, what heroes are good and bad, and so on. We got a lot to cover here today, so grab your bag of popcorn, throw that shit in the microwave, and let's get into it. Now, you guys know that I think jungling is absolutely broken, but having a jungle in real life absolutely is not. And that's why you need to try out Manscaped 4.0, and I'm going to tell you a bit about it. So Manscaped, who is the sponsor of today's video, was kind enough to send me their Performance 4.0 package, which comes with a couple of key things, a few that I've been using religiously. It comes with a nice pair of boxer briefs, a travel bag, the Weed Whacker, which is good for nose hairs. I don't have a lot of nose hairs. And then the major things that I've been using is the 4.0 lawnmower, which basically just lets you trim your jungle down below. It's completely waterproof, so I use it in the shower. It's easy to charge, and I've had no nicks. So just an optimal experience, an immortal experience. And then another thing that I've been loving is the Crop Reviver. It's basically like a scent spray for your balls, but it smells really nice. So I can't recommend it enough. And so go check out the Performance Package 4.0 in the description down below. We have a discount code. It's SPEED. Your boy Speed is the discount code. There are 3 E's in Speed for 20% off your purchase and free international shipping, which means if you're from SEA, you have no excuse. And yeah, let's get into the video. All right, so the first thing I want to cover is Primal Beast. I'm going to keep it really simple for everyone who's just looking for a quick introduction to play the hero. Basically, all you need to know is that the Q is a channeled ability. You can cancel it at any time, and it runs through, does damage, and stuns. The W is kind of weird. You click it, and then when you move, your guy pounds the ground. This does damage based on your base damage, and this is important to note. The hero is very much based around base damage. What you're going to want to understand is your E is not only a passive, but also an active. It passively gives you base damage, and every time you take an instance of 35 damage or more, this can be from I believe from an ability or from auto attacks, definitely from auto attacks. You can see the auto attacks are coming out here. Then when you pop the ability, when you use it, it gives you damage, slow, and armor. It's kind of like Elder Titan's W, right? His astral spirit. It's sort of like that. It gives very similar characteristics, which should help you put the spell into perspective. And what's important to note is when you use it, it makes your W a lot better as well. So the main combo here is going to be take a bunch of damage, trample onto them, then click your E and then your W, and that's generally going to kill them. I think this hero can be played primarily as, honestly, any role. It's probably going to be relatively broken like every new hero, but I see this mainly as a position 4 and 5, maybe an offlaner, honestly, maybe an offlaner as well. And finally, the ultimate is kind of weird. It sort of just picks them up and bashes them into the ground. Anyone caught in the radius also gets mini stun, which is important to understand. It really doesn't last very long, but as far as I'm concerned, at level 1, it does a 450 damage alone, which is only 150 less than Finger of Death. So yeah, really excited for this hero. Expect a full gameplay video coming out soon. I'm going to try to play it on my main account in a 9K game, so keep your eyes out for that. And now let's get into techies. Alright, getting into techies, I think I can even tell you what the general skill build is going to be. I have a feeling what people are going to max out is the Sticky Bomb, and the reason for that is the scaling on this ability is freaking nuts. If you max it out, it is a 6-second cooldown that does 360 damage and potentially slows for 55%. And it's not, it's really not that difficult to land this ability. I wouldn't say it's easy, it has a bit of a delay, but obviously if you're going from the trees and someone doesn't know you're there, it's going to be pretty easy to hit them with this thing. And it's a very significant slow and damage number in the early game, only being a 6-second cooldown. Now, that's the first ability. It slows, it does damage, and when it's on them, it actually like literally slows them. So it's really, really good for getting kills in the early game. After that is your basic blast off ability. This hasn't really been changed, but you can't deny yourself So you have to keep that in mind. But the general gist of this hero, as far as I'm concerned, is you do this. You throw a bomb onto them, that slows them, that guarantees the blast off. Then when you go on them, you pop your W, and how that works is if they hit you, when you put this electric shit on yourself, it disarms them. Then, after 6 seconds, it disarms in a radius again. So basically, the enemy cannot hit you almost at all during this duration. It's very, very good at disengaging, and that's going to be the gist. Throw a bomb, blast off, click your W, run away, rinse, repeat, and that's the gist. And now finally, your ultimate hasn't really changed very much. However, the proximity mines still have the 3-second charges. The big thing to understand that they changed is that they do 400 damage at level 1. They seemingly explode a little bit faster. Honestly, I'm not a Techies player, so frankly, I don't know, but I think they explode faster than they previously did. And when you get hit by it, it reduces your magic resistance. So, you know, if there's a couple bombs in an area, even though you have to place them like the old one, you still have to keep in mind that they do seemingly explode much, much faster. So these bombs are going to be more deadly when you put them on the hills. It's going to be very difficult to react to them, unlike the old red mines. Alright, and within this video, now we're going to get into the item updates, and then we're going to do heroes. Keep in mind, I am going to make a short next video as a video for all the other changes, the neutral creep changes, and the game changes. However, I want to split it up into parts because this patch is literally ridiculous. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Now let's get into it. Some new items, all right? This is going to take quite a while to get into. Once again, get some water, get some popcorn, and let's get into it. All right, let's get into our first item, the Revenant's Brooch. That's quite the name. It requires a Witchblade, so it's an upgrade from Witchblade, a Mystic Staff, and a 800 gold recipe. Frankly, I don't see a lot of Witchblade being purchased other than on Puck. If I'm missing any hero, you guys can let me know, but this item gives 45 intelligence, 40 attack speed, 8 armor, and 300 projectile speed. The active, however, is your next 5 attacks have True Strike and deal magical damage, can attack ethereal units, which is really bizarre and niche, but definitely useful, and expires after 15 seconds. The cooldown is quite long, right? It's a 45-second cooldown, and I don't know how much magical damage it gives. However, the passive seemingly is the same. It causes you to apply a poison that slows for 4 seconds, dealing your int. So that's the same as the Witchblade. Seemingly, what this item gives is True Strike and magical damage in the late game, which, once again, is very... This seems a bit niche, I'm not gonna lie. It's a very nice upgrade and option for a hero like Puck that can 6-slot in games. I'm not really sure how many heroes are actually gonna buy this though, as it is very, very expensive at a 6,200 gold cost for an item that gives you, once again, kind of niche mechanics in True Strike and the ability to attack ethereal units. Once again, useful in the late game, but only 5 attacks isn't enough for most heroes to burst. So I don't know, once again, what heroes are gonna buy this besides the Pucks, and maybe you buy it against like Necro and Pugna if you already have a Witchblade, I guess. It's kind of weird. I'm not sure that this will be very popular. I don't think it will be. Wraith Pact requires Vladimir's Offering, Point Booster, okay, a Point Booster, which is the pink one, and a 400 gold recipe. So it's Vlad's, which I don't think is a great item, might have gotten changed. Point Booster and a recipe. 4,200 gold. It gives HP mana, which, okay, it's not really significant, but it's something. Vlad's Aura grants, okay, so it's basic Vlad's Aura, that's not changed, and the active is can be cast within a 350 range to create a totem that reduces all enemies' attack and spell damage within a 900 AoE by 25% and deals 25 damage per second. The totem can move at 150 movement speed, last 25 seconds, or 5 hero hits, or 10 creep hits. That seems... all enemy attack and spell damage by 25%. I mean, 900 AoE is large. The question is, once again, my nerves, the thing I see often with these items is like, what hero buys Vlad's in general, right? Not a lot. There's not a lot of heroes that buy Vlad's in and of themselves. So then going into Wraith Pact is kind of weird, right? Because it's like, are you really going to spend 4,200 gold for this active? I think the answer generally is going to be no. However, if you do buy Vlad's for whatever reason, maybe the enemy team is mostly physical damage and your team has a lot of base damage right clickers like Luna or Terrorblade, you could pick this up and then it could be good, right? Because this active isn't much more expensive than the Vlad's, right? It's 1,600 gold more expensive. That's not too bad for a pretty solid active. So I could see this once again being good, but niche is what I would say. Boots of Bearing requires tranquil boots and drums. Oh, dude, you guys know I love drums on support. And whoa, that's an expensive recipe. 1,500 gold recipe. Okay, 8 strength, 8 int, very high movement speed. I think 65 is quite high. 15 HP regen flat, 8 charges, gains a charge every 3 minutes. Okay, so you get your charges back, which is kind of cool. Active, consumes a charge to give 50 attack speed, which is a bit more than the previous drums. Not by a lot. Old drums was 45, so it's not really much of a buff. 15% movement speed. It was already 13, so that's not much of a buff. Within a 1200 radius for 6 seconds. I think that's what it was. During the first 2 seconds, allies can't be slowed by other abilities. Does not stack with Drum of Endurance active. So you can't stack this with drums, right? You can't buy both. The passive is, I think, okay, so it's a bit higher. No, was that the same? I think it's pretty close. I don't know, is this good? It's niche because the active isn't much better. The reason why you would buy this, frankly, is almost only because of the slow, the first 2 seconds of slow, which in some games is good, but for 1,500 gold, it's gonna be a late game upgrade, is how I see this. Once again, it's one of those things where it's cool, but it's gotta be in a game where they have specific slows that you can't purge otherwise, right? Because 1,500 gold is expensive, right? Especially with Tranquil Boots not being that popular. Maybe they got changed, we're not there yet, maybe. But yeah, I'm not really sold on these 3 items. I'm not gonna lie, guys. You can always let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm super curious on what you guys have to think. I'm gonna read most of the comments of this video. But all right, Bloodstone, whoa, okay. Let's just read the new one. We know what the old one was. New one. Soul Booster, that's the same. Voodoo Mask, that's the same. Oh wait, no. Okay, right. Oh no, those were the same, but it was a Kaya instead of a recipe. So now it's a recipe, which is much cheaper than Kaya. This gold is a little more than 1,000. It's 1,150 gold less. It gives 550 HP, 550 mana, which is a lot. It's more than the Soul Booster. 25% spell lifesteal, which is a lot. That is a very high number, a little bit against creeps. And the active is double Bloodstone spell lifesteal. Okay, you double the spell lifesteal up to 50%, which is huge, and also converts the same percentage of damage dealt to mana. Last 6 seconds, cost 10% of your health to cast. Oh, that's kind of weird. When cast, grants the drained debuff, ignoring extra blood pack effects for 40 seconds. What? What is the drained debuff? Okay, I'm not even gonna try to figure that out. But basically, this is like really good in niche situations. I mean, to be fair, like, the big problem here is the build-up, okay? This is like strictly like some mid to late game item on certain heroes that have like burst magic damage, because the problem is if you spend the majority of your early game gold on either of these items, you are griefing. I can assure you, these are items alone. So this is gonna be mid to late game on heroes like Skywrath and Zeus because they can just full heal by activating it. So it could be good on certain heroes, but even on a hero like Bristle, yeah, it could be okay, but once again, the buildup is so bad. Every component is useless. You might be like, that's the spell lifesteal for Voodoo Mask. It's not really good, so it's really cool. I like it, and niche, it will be good. Once again, I think most of these items are generally niche, but so are most Dota items, and that's kind of the beauty of it. Hopefully, you know, my example of what it could work on can help. But yeah, that's the beauty of Dota items. They usually are kind of niche, but when you figure out what situations they work in, they can be broken. Okay, new Orchid. Blitz Knuckles, so a switch, still attack speed though, 40 attack speed, Claymore and Voidstone, very cheap. Very, very cheap. Even cheaper than the other Orchid. Blitz Knuckles, Claymore, and Voidstone. I would say a worse buildup than the old Orchid, because the old Orchid could be built from Sage's Masks, which was very convenient. It was very nice. But Blitz Knuckles is honestly a good standalone item. Voidstone is solid, so this item has pretty good buildup, I would say. Pretty good buildup on heroes like on Storm and Puck. for instance, or Void Spirit, pretty solid, I would say. 40 attack speed, 30 damage, pretty similar to the other Orchid, except significantly more attack speed, 15 more. However, you do not get int, and it's a lot of int. To be fair, it's a lot. 20 int is a lot, which hurts. And 3 mana regen, which is less. So you get more attack speed, the same damage, but not the int for less gold. Is the active the same? It is. The active's the same. So, I want to say it's kind of a nerf, but this does allow you to get very early Orchid timings. But I wouldn't say it's going to be much earlier than the other Orchid, because the other Orchid had such good build-up. So, it's good on... You know what? Here's how I see this Orchid. It's much better on non-int heroes now, right? It's much better on your agi heroes, right? So, I could see this item being picked up a lot in the early game by heroes like Naga, maybe like a Slark, right? You need the mana regen, the attack speed, and the damage, so I could really see it being actually more of an agi item now. You still could buy it on heroes like Storm, but it's definitely worse due to the intelligence component lacking. Alright, Bloodthorn, I'm gonna assume it's not much different, right? Well, okay, no, I take it back. I take it back, it's much different. Orchid, Mage Slayer, what the hell? And a recipe, a pretty expensive recipe. So, it's much less attack speed, more damage, but it's more expensive, right? And magic resist. It's honestly really good numbers. Like, the magic resist from Mage Slayer is kind of nice mid to late game, so I don't think Mage Slayer after Orchid's that bad, especially as like a late game build-up. I can see this being okay on, like, once again, agi heroes, frankly. This is like, it looks like an int item, and I think our bias is going to be towards that, but I don't think this is like, well, it does have int though, because of the Mage Slayer, I guess, right? So, yeah, weird. This one I'm unsure about. I could see it on heroes like Storm and Puck, is what I would say, for sure. Because Mage Slayer is kind of cool on like heroes like Puck. Maybe even something like Ember or Void Spirit. It definitely could be really good on those type of heroes. Void Spirit might be a big component, a big buyer of this hero. I could definitely see it on Ember as well with the new changes, but I don't know. We'll have to see. This is yeah, it's really hard for me to speculate on these items. It's so much information to take in. Ethereal Blade, the new one. Kaya, what the hell? Kaya and Ghost Sep, 25 int, so it's an int item now largely. Instead of agi, it's more of an int item than agi. 5 agility, strength, spell lifesteal amplification. Right, that's from the Kaya. Spell amp, mana regen amplification. A lot of mana regen amplification. Holy, okay. That is a lot of mana regen amplification. Jeez. Ethereal Blast. Okay, so I'm assuming this is the same, right? Converts the target unit to ethereal form. Okay, so it's ethereal, unable to attack, 40% more damage, that's the same. Lasts for 4 seconds, 4 second on enemy. Cooldown's 22, I think that's the same. Enemy targets are slowed and take 1.5 times their primary attribute, plus 50 as magical damage. 1.5 times their or your? Did they change it to their primary attribute? That's weird. Okay, well, rip Morphling, I guess. At least this version of Morphling. But this is really, really good. This is really good. This might be one of the best items of the patch. I'm gonna say it right now. It's okay. There is a very expensive recipe, to be fair. Wait, what? It's saying the old one had a recipe. No, it didn't. That's just wrong. God damn it, Valve! There was no recipe in the old E-Blade. It was just, yeah. What the hell? This doesn't even add up. Eagle Song Ghost Scepter is like 5K. All right, they kind of messed it up. So I will say that the recipe is expensive, but the build-up is very nice items. Kind of. The Ghost Scepter's a bit weird on cores in the early game, so maybe it's not as good as I originally thought, but the buffs when you upgrade are very significant. These numbers are quite good, and the active is nice. So honestly, maybe it's actually more similar to the old Kaya, to the old E-Blade than I thought, but the numbers on int heroes is very good. And the mana regen amplification is super good. So definitely on heroes like your Void Spirits, we'll be picking this item up, no doubt. Yeah. Aghanim's Shard, now purchasable at 15 minutes. Wow, that is a big nerf to oh, wait. Oh, what am I saying? 15, oh, just flat. Did they nerf all the shards, or is that just the case? Because that's gonna be a big buff to some of the shards that are good early on, right? Some shards are like, some shards you buy at minute 30 and they feel good then, right? But something like a tiny shard is like something you really want early on into the game. And wow, that's crazy if they didn't nerf the shard. I can't imagine they nerfed every shard, right? So, okay. Arcane Blink, active no longer grants cooldown reduction, really. Now grants 25% mana cost reduction. You don't really need that. Debuff amplification. Because this is like generally better on supports, right? I mean, 20% debuff amplification is a lot. So like you get a refresher Arcane Blink late game, your ravages are gonna last for a really long time. It's like an extra second of stun, right? Maybe a little bit less, 0.8. Still, very significant, so okay. Armlet, slight nerf, 5 HP. I wouldn't say that's too crazy, but it matters. Blade Mail, recipe reduced by 25, okay. I guess it matters. Boots of Travel, losing 10 movement speed, not too crazy. Boots of Travel 2, losing 10, right? Losing 10 movement speed as well. Now, additionally reduces TP channel time by 1. Wow, that's big. A big incentivization to buy Boots of Travel 2. Right, that's big, because a second in the late game really can make the difference. Absolutely, okay. So definitely more of a reason to buy Travels 2 now. Definitely, that's cool, I like that. Bottle. Using the bottle removes the lingering fountain buff. Oh, that's funny. Okay. So you gotta be careful. You can't like TP bottle. You have to TP, hold, then bottle, which is a big nerf. That's a huge nerf. You're gonna really have to sit in fountain for quite a bit longer now, because you can't just TP out with half mana and then bottle to full when you TP in. So, all right, that's big. Now doubles its bonuses after minute 25. What the? That is a huge buff to these items. It's for all of them. It is. Wow, these are gonna. I feel like that's a massive buff. No, like supports are just gonna buy these, right? If I'm a support, I would definitely consider buying bracers. Minute 25, I just get more strength. No longer grants amplification. Now grants 4% mana cost reduction. Oh, okay. That seems pretty good though. Mana cost reduction early game for like heroes like Storm. What the hell? Okay. Doubles its effect. Yeah, I could see this creating a meta, frankly. I mean, it is minute 25, which is pretty late into the game, right? It's not like if it was minute 15, then the meta would completely revolve around these items. I'm sure of that. But 25 is a bit late. I think these items will be very popular, though. I can't imagine that's not the case. I mean, double the effect. That is a lot, right? 16% mana cost reduction at minute 25 is a lot. Why would you not have 2 nulls for 500 gold? Right? Like, why would you not have 2 nulls for 16 mana? Like, people will buy nulls at minute 25, if anything, right? Like, the item will just be one of the, I'm telling you guys, there's no way that's not going to be abused. I can see people buying like 4 bracers at minute 25, unironically on supports, if the cost doesn't change, which I don't think it does. I think that's going to be a thing. I'm pretty sure. Crimson Guard, cooldown reduced by, okay, kind of needs it. All right, slight buffs to Crimson. Don't know if it'll make it meta, but we'll see. Probably not. Deso, damage reduced by 5. Now gains +2 damage if an enemy hero dies with this item's corruption debuff, up to a maximum of 25. Okay, yeah, I mean, to be fair, I would probably take this 5 damage hit for this, like, potential 25 damage buff. The thing is, obviously, you need kills to make this happen, which is not always easy. But all right, can be cast without interrupting channeling. Oh, cool. Big buff to my favorite item in the game. Yeah, I like that. All right, cool. Wild channeling. I don't know who that's a buff to, besides the fact that you can just use it when you're channeling, which matters for heroes like CM and Witch Doctor, who I like buying on. So I like it. I like it. Dust now also deals 25 damage to enemies revealed when cast. All right, get nerfed, Ricky. Haha. Diffusal Blade. Reworked, now requires Blade of Alacrity, Robe of the Magi, and a huge recipe. Okay, but it's much cheaper, much cheaper. Much less agi, about the same int, melee illusion burn, mana, okay. So, this seems like a nerf, right? Because heroes like PL and Naga who would buy it liked buying 2 Blades of Alacrity. It was good for them. They wanted the agi. It's less mana burn. However, you do get the slow earlier on, so I would imagine this is a buff for a hero like Ursa, who's much more interested in the slow, or a hero like Slark. I mean, even though they benefit from the agi, obviously, especially someone like Slark. But this is, yeah, it seems like more of a nerf to the illusion heroes to me, because they really want agi and they really want the mana burn. This is a 30% decrease, right? So a 33. So it you know, I think, yeah, I think this is a buff to like Ursa in some regard, but it's a nerf to the illusion heroes, at least a little. But to be fair, the passive on the main hero mana burn is the same. So maybe the Fusel is just a good item, because the slow for only 2,500 gold is significant. I have Scotty. Reduced stats, bonus health. Okay, I would say it's about the same. Scotty's still broken in the right games. Force Staff, cooldown reduced, so a buff to Force Staff. I like that, because it was pretty meh most of the time. Gem, now has an active, gives true sight over a 300 AoE area within 300 range for 4 seconds. No, does not grant vision on the area, just vision of invisible units or wards. No longer reveals invisibility when dropped. Oh, okay, so you can click it to see hills, right? Is that the idea? Yeah, okay. So I think it helps you see stuff on like hills, because what people would do is they drop it on the ground. It was like a really niche tactic that only like specific players knew, in my opinion, where you could drop gem on, next to a hill to see on top of the hill. It was really stupid. So I think this is just them basically buffing gem in that regard. Ghost Scepter, cooldown increased, okay. Oh, so it was a nerf to the E-Blade combo because it was 20, right. So they added 2 seconds on E-Blade. Magic resist increased on Glimmer by 5%, alright. Salve duration increased by 3 seconds, which is a nerf for healing items. Healing per second reduced, so the total heal is worse and the duration is worse. And 3 seconds in the early game is a lot, so I like this. It's a little bit less heal and it's more inconvenient. I can respect it. Do I think salves still will be spammed? Absolutely. But this is a big nerf to the item, as once again, 3 seconds in the laning stage is a long time and definitely matters. Plus, it's a little bit less healing, so okay. Holy Locket, whatever. Hood of Defiance, slightly worse. I still would buy it, though. For sure, I would still buy it. Hurricane Pike, much less. Okay, it's the 4-staff buff, right? Cast range increased, which I guess means you can use it on. Oh, yeah, that's big. Oh, that's big. Right, because if you want to pike someone on like TA, you'd have to get really close. This is 100 range buff, that's nice. Enemy cast range increase, so if you want to 4-staff the enemy, attack range increased. Okay, bit of an attack range buff, that's nice. And ally push speed increased, pretty good. Kaya Sanj, it used to be 25%, now it's 20. Does that mean people won't buy it? Frankly, I think people will still buy it, assuming they didn't nerf Sanj or Kaya. So I don't know if this item is much worse, to be frank. Meteor Hammer, mana cost reduced from 125. Let's go, this is my item, boys. Mana cost reduced. Unit damage per second reduced by a lot. Stun reduced by a lot, but the radius is huge. Okay, so it does a lot less damage, but it's a much, much bigger radius. I think that's kind of a nerf, though, because it's a lot less damage, and the heroes that would use it for damage, it's kind of like an indirect OD nerf, to be honest. I don't really like it, because it kind of hurts the other heroes. But it does make it sort of better as a support item because you have a high chance of being able to use it in a team fight. You know, a much higher chance of actually hitting people. So I guess that's kind of cool. Nullifier. No longer pierces magic immunity. It did? What? I guess if they BKB'd and it was midair, then it worked. I think that's the idea. Yeah. If you casted it, then they BKB'd, it would just go through it. I think that was the problem. No longer slows or has a mana cost. Okay. The slow is actually huge, so I would say kind of a nerf, kind of a buff. It depends. It depends. Against BKB heroes, it's a nerf. Everyone else, it's also a nerf. Wait, what? Oh, it's just a nerf. Okay. Besides the mana cost. That's why did they do that? I feel like this item's not that good. I mean, it's like niche good, right? All right. Pipe. What? That's it? That's what? That's it? 2%? 2%? Okay. Quelling. Cost reduced by 30, Battle Fury cost reduced. Okay, so it makes Battle Fury kind of better. But it only gives 8 damage now. I remember when Battle Fury used to give like 20 or some shit. Now it gives 8 or 4 for 100 gold. Do you buy that for 100 gold? I think the answer is still yes. Frankly, it's still 8 damage, which, you know, you can't buy any other item for 8 damage. Blades of Attack, which give 9, are 400 gold. So you're still gonna buy Quelling Blade. I guess it's a buff to Battle Fury heroes, is what I'm seeing. Cool, I guess. All right. Still buy Quelling Blade. Radiance, recipe reworked. Now requires a sacred relic and a talisman of evasion. And it's less gold, so no recipe, which seems like a buff, because it grants evasion. Okay, but it's worse against the illusion heroes, 7% worse on the blind effect. Can no longer be toggled on and off when the owner is out of the game. Oh, okay. Okay. So that doesn't really matter, I would say. I guess it's a buff to Shadow Demon. Like some other niche situation. A buff to Radiance, giving it an evasion buff. I would say it kind of makes it better in some situations for like just your hero though. I don't think it makes the item very good though. In general, I'm not a fan of this item. Almost always, I don't think Radiance is frankly very good. Refresher, this was a big item of the patch. Mana regen heavily reduced. Cooldown increased by 10. Not that much. Not that much, really. I thought they were going to make the mana cost a little bit worse, frankly. They didn't do that. So, not that much worse, to be fair. Sanjin Yasha, only 2% worse. Not that bad. Satanic, another very popular item. Not terrible. 5 seconds does matter, absolutely. But not terrible. I would still buy Satanic in the good Satanic games, even after this change. Okay, bit of a nerf to Soul Ring. It was a very popular item. Only 20 gold. Definitely still would purchase it on most heroes, I think. Swift Blink doesn't grant attack damage or attack speed. The active now grants agi. Okay, so only, well, it's a nerf to the strength heroes that would buy it, and it's a buff to the agi heroes. Kind of, because, not really though, because the damage was already around 35. The only thing it really gives you now is armor, which you don't really need armor on most of the agi heroes in the late game, so a nerf to Swift Blink, I would say. I would say, from what I've seen, this makes Overwhelming Blink maybe one of the best. I would say Overwhelming Blink is probably my favorite. Arcane Blink on the right heroes in the late game with a debuff, pretty good. Neutral item updates, Trusty Shovel. Bonus health decreased, used to be literally like 150, now it's 75. All right, still a good item, of course, because you just get salves and so on. Arcane Ring, definitely needed a nerf. Tumblr's Toy, it got buffed. It's funny, I'm like, I think this item's broken, it gets buffed. Well, all right, I think this is an item that people just suck at using. Hot take, not hot take, whatever. I think it's kind of busted. You just got to get comfortable with using it. I would definitely look to use Tumblr's Toy. Big fan of the item. The only thing is the 200 mana it gives you early game. It's good on some heroes, like Ember, like especially the bottle heroes. The go back to base heroes, it's particularly good on. But it's good on supports. The mobility is great. I don't know. I like this item. Broom Handle. More armor, less damage. Probably a nerf. Early game, though, an extra armor is good. Quicksilver Amulet, like, this makes it better on, like, supports, which sometimes, when you get the last choice of item, you get Broom Handle, and it's like, alright, you get 4 armor, it's pretty good. Quicksilver Amulet, needed a nerf, it was probably one of the better. Only 1% movement speed, but it matters. I like that. I don't think it was that busted, but it was strong. Aquila losing 4 damage, that's kind of a lot, but, yeah, kind of a lot, honestly. I want to see the Brigand's Blade change. What? It got buffed? Is this item not, what? Growbow buff, Essence Ring, nerf, okay, that makes sense. Increased? Bonus per health missing, what? Am I stupid? Wasn't this item really good? Now isn't it, what? Why did they buff it? Based on what stat? Am I crazy? Maybe I'm crazy, I don't know. Oh, Nature's Prophet buff, yep. I like the sound of my prophet, good. Fade Grenade, People's Gift, by the way, increased. That's what it was. Damage per second increased from 35 to 40. Okay, no longer grants vision to both teams. It did that? So it only grants vision to what? Who? I don't even know what that means. Doesn't the enemy team already have vision of their own hero? I have no idea. I don't understand. Does it not grant? Okay, I don't know. Spider Legs, bonus movement speed, decreased by 4%. That's fair. Active duration increased. Okay, I would say this item's about the same. Maybe a slight nerf. Quiver, bonus damage, but the range was nerfed. About the same. Quickening Charm, cooldown reduction. That's a nerf. Ceremonial Robe, less mana. Nerfed. Not by a lot. Still pick this item up, please. It's really good. Psychic Headband, bonus int reduced. The range push away. Okay, it's about the same, I would say. Paladin Sword, bonus damage reduced by 4. Okay, about the same. Telescope, down by 10 range, still would definitely take this item. Trigger range on Blast Streak increased by 400. I hate playing against this item. I kind of wish they removed it. It's sort of my least favorite item in the game. It's like, kind of, you barely realize when it hits you. It's stupid. Please get rid of that item. I don't like it. Aesthetics Cap, however you say this item. A little bit of Rage Spirit, whatever, the same. Timeless Relic, slight nerf on the debuff. Actually pretty significant, 5% definitely matters. So a bit of a nerf to Timeless Relic. Still, definitely take this item in the right games. Whoa! Okay. Leveler losing 10 attack speed. Quite a big nerf. Biggest nerf out of all of them up to this point. Well, it got buffed in the attributes, but 6% less cooldown reduction on Spell Prism. 6% less. That is significant. That's probably the biggest nerf. Would I still take this item? It is 8 attributes and 12% CDR, which is good, but wow, that is a nerf. Still would take this item on the right heroes with really long cooldowns, but it hurts, it hurts. Ninja Gear, active movement speed increased by 5%, okay, it's decent. Witchbane now additionally grants 20 attack speed. This item is underrated. Let me just put it out there. People just suck at using it because it gives you another purge, which is hard to do. But man, in the right situations, if you know how to use Witchbane, it is a really good item. It gets rid of Aeon Disc, Glimmer Cape, it purges Force Staff, Ghost Scepter, like everything. If you get daggered, you purge it. Geld, purge it. If you're orchided, purge it. Like, you purge everything. And then you have this active. You have the passive and now 20 more attack speed. Please use this item and get good at using it. It is good. It's just hard to use, like Tumblr's toy. Book of Shadows. Bonus attribute increased from 12 to 13. Okay. Fallen Sky. Doesn't really change. 15 movement speed on Pirate's Hat. I'd say that's fair because it kind of gave too much attack speed. Like, it was like late game. Sometimes it literally just give you too much attack speed where it wasn't even useful. So I think that's fair. Arcanist Armor. Mega Shield now only affects heroes. I didn't even know it affected other units. I don't think I've seen this item in game like more than once. And it was slightly buffed, whatever. Not, you know, not really something I'm paying attention to. And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.